right there. But I was like, if we do this, my next call has to be to Alexis.
Wow.
When Amber was on a date at my house and I'm cooking for her, and we watching Wedding Crash and stuff like that, I had plenty of opportunities to go in for the kiss.
Right.
And I was like, dang, I'm going to kiss her before I kiss Alexis. I would have to tell Alexis.
But you know what, Ron? I saw a lot of intimacy on your season. Was that encouraged? You know, like a lot of kissing, because the seasons after you all, it seemed like they didn't show as much kissing and touching.
I mean, here's kind of how my kisses. Okay. Well, the kids I was supposed to have on a date with Alexis, we're over here golfing, putting, and having a conversation, and traction is there, you know, all that stuff.
Right.
It's real. I'm giving her real hugs, and then you see like a big bulletin board roll past you in the back saying "Kiss her now." I'm like, what?
I knew it. I'm like, what? I knew.
So you know me, I'm an alpha male. I'm like, man, I ain't kissing nobody. Anybody tells me to kiss, like, you better do it on my own. You know what I mean? Now I look like a buster if I go read and then go in there and grab and kiss you. Like, you know what I mean? That ain't how I'm built. So I purposely didn't go in for the kiss that time, even though the moment did it. But I still wanted to give her praise and her intimacy and let people know that the connection was real, because it was. So I picked her up, you know, and kind of gave her, you know, I carried her to the whole course to get her to the door.
Yeah.
I was actually going to try to put her to the side and sneak a kiss off camera, because I didn't care if it was on camera or not. I'd rather for it to be off camera stuff and sneak an off camera kiss that I wanted to give myself instead of, you know, somebody telling me to do it. So, and like I said, I don't think it's that way in all situations, but some situations I've heard that they done that in the past. And
because I know from your season it was a lot of kissing. I mean, to me, kissing was the point to say this is my number one. If we kissed, then I felt some, you know, that's what it seemed like. Now, Ron, I'm not saying that.
Kissing is very intimate to me. Like, I don't just kiss anybody. Like, if I kiss you, we together. So like I said, I purposely had many opportunities to kiss females in terms of them didn't do it. That's why when she did kiss AJ, I did take it kind of personal. I'm not gonna lie to you, because one, she didn't tell me. And two, it's the way I feel about kissing. So you kiss a guy on Friday, I take you on Valentine's Day date on Sunday on my own time, my own money, everything. I spend hundreds of dollars. Wow. You know what I mean? And you're not telling me that you just kissed a guy before you ever kissed me. Number one, you know what I mean? And the guy, you told me personally that this guy's done me bad. You know, you don't gotta worry about him no more. I'm not talking to him like that. So I'm thinking, okay, I knew you had attraction from this guy from the beginning, but you told me, hey, it ain't popping. So we're gonna focus on, you know, what's going on here. But with that said, I didn't really care if she did kiss him or if they did get back together, because I'm still dating other women. We're still going through the process.
Right.
But I'm telling you everything. I'm being transparent with everything that's going on. But you hide that information to a week later, then you say, hey, I made a decision. I got to tell you.
Right. Yeah.
It's fair. We've been ready to love, but if you really care about a person and it's cool, you don't do their journey like that. Let them know, like, hey, kiss the guy. You know what I mean? I might be feeling him. You know what I mean? So you can kind of move the way you need to move, you know, personally. So
I mean, and that's fine. It's just that sometimes when you're dating, once you throw in that intimacy, that, you know, that kind of sexual chemistry, it can kind of take you off your path of getting to know each other, you know, getting to understand if this is somebody for me. You get kind of sidetracked. And that was why I was so surprised when I saw it. Seemed like it was just a lot of intimacy.
Well, people think of it as even like the kiss with Liz and Jason over David, because we all thought David and Liz was the couple. Like, it was nobody's doubt.
From day one, you thought they had connected.
Everybody did. Everybody did from production. Everybody did.
Okay.
It was a perfect match. Here you go. Because Liz is really like that. Like, she's really the church. You know what I mean? That's real.
Okay.
He didn't know that book.
Oh.
The bad boy. You know what I mean? So here you got two people that religion is first. You know what I mean? All that other, playing towards the church crowd. Other people were doing. I don't go by that.
Okay.
I can ask somebody
what's talking about.
I'm going to David or Liz. I know they live that.
Okay.
The way they life on an everyday basis. So here you got two people that live that. You have Liz who kind of knew who David was a little bit before the show and said, okay, I like that.
Right.
You had, two people, that commonality was there. You know what I mean? They both attractive people.
Right.
It made sense.
It made sense until it didn't make sense, right? Between David and Liz.
Well, the part we didn't know is David is, I call him Super Dave. David's a very charismatic, very good guy, something like that. But Dave's extremely picky. And I don't know. Hey, whatever girl leads up to his standards is going to be a bad one. But yeah, she was all in still. And I think, and maybe that kiss did throw it off. Like I said, I went through that with the AJ situation. And you kind of do feel a little sense of non-loyalty when your number one kisses another guy before they kiss you.
Exactly. No,
and people think, it's just dating and stuff like that. No, if you're really invested in this process, and you like, yo, when I get done with this, I might have to marry this woman because the whole world has seen me go to the end with her. You know what I mean? Everywhere I go, they're gonna be asking where she's at. So I gotta be real. I gotta be able to stay the long run with this person. And how loyal do I think a person is if they kissed another guy before they kiss me?
Right.
If it was in real life, you'd be like, what?
I know, right? If you was in real life, you wouldn't even probably see him no more.
Yeah. In real life, you would have been like,
I'm out. I'm good.
If you was dating a girl for 2 weeks and you was out in the club and you saw that, you just randomly saw that girl kissing another dude.
What? It's over.
It's over. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just how that works. But
I'm good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be tolerated in the process.
Right.
But we're men, we got egos. That ain't really how it happens.
So did you all ever discuss that? Like, what's kind of going on when you all have your little men discussion? Did you, even when you're out, like the intertwining of the relationship, like you really feeling her, right? Did y'all even talk?
We do that because you don't want to step on nobody's rules. Like some of them we knew. Like we knew Joelle and Benicia, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
We knew what that was because a lot of us, because she couldn't have kids, have Benicia in our bottle. So we're like, she gets saved every week.
Right.
She ain't saving her. It gotta be Joelle. So we thought that was connection. I thought that was connection. I was like, okay, that's perfect. Here you go, a woman with her stuff together. She raised girls and kids. You got Joelle, who now, because of the situation with his, wife.
Yeah, he
raised kids. She was willing to help and be that support. Yeah. And the girls, she bad, she gorgeous. You know what I mean? And so you looking at him like, why would you not? Like, this is, you know what I mean? You whatever she's bringing, you need all that. You need her her knowledge with kids. You need it all. So like why? So I'm thinking that's a couple. We're thinking, the David and Liz thing is a couple. So some of that's off limits. Now, what I didn't know was the curveball was the KG and Amber thing.
Oh, I
had no idea they were on so many dates, and that was the way production was kind of rolling that. Because when we was in deliberation with the men, he didn't speak about her that much. It was more like at first it was Stacey.
Okay, that's
Stacey had the most amazing conversation. She's this and that. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's Stacey, and then it's this, and then it switched over to Amber, and I'm like, this guy, is he throwing darts or what's going on? And then when I watched the show, I'm like, I've been begging her to get on a date with this girl from the beginning, and you put me on 0 dates. I had to invite her to my house and cook, on my own, off camera. This guy's been on 12 dates with us.
Wow.
You're trying to set up a narrative, right? I get it. Even to the point where I was like, I talked to one of the production guys, one of the assistants. A lot of people on the set. And I was like, man, why come y'all never got me on this Amber thing? Y'all knew it was a connection there. You're like, what's going on? And they was like, Ron, we don't, I understand it's a connection. We can't tell that story because we don't have it on camera. You did your dates off camera. So
yeah, but they're the ones that's setting up the dates. Is that not correct? Because they have to bring the cameramen there, so they're setting up these dates.
But that's how they can kind of have control of the narrative a little bit. They can set up the date. You know what I mean? So whoever you can, like I said, a woman could be at your house every single day off camera, but if y'all don't got no camera time together, they can't tell you a story for Ready to Love.
Right.
That's so true. Yeah, they set you on dates. It just doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And if you a woman and you're ambitious and you talking to you about your brand and stuff like that, you're gonna go with the narrative. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna stick up for me and say, "Oh no, I really want to."
Right. Well, that's true.
Yeah, you're gonna go whatever the narrative is. So I understand how it's the real aspect of it, how it goes, but. Yeah, so we talk as guys to kind of say, like, this is when you enter. And I was the guy that was encouraging the guys to say, all right, man, y'all gonna have to pick. Because in my heart of hearts, I wanted 8 couples.
Yeah.
I wanted everybody to find somebody. I'm a sucker for love like that. So I'm always rooting for the couples. Even when on the new seasons, I'm like, where the couple? I need the real couples.
I know, right? You looking for them.
Yeah, what's gonna work? What's not? This and that, when I saw Tyrone and Ace, I was the biggest, biggest cheerleader for it because I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
And something that difficult deserves to be cheerleaded, deserves to be rewarded because you're making a connection in probably the hardest setting and venue to do so.
And then you're doing it in front of millions of people once it's shown. You know what I'm saying? Not initially.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure with it, but the biggest pressure is keeping it up. You know what I mean? So you have a real connection and y'all really rocking with each other.
Right.
And you found each other, even if you didn't connect on the show, you found each other because of the show. Right. I think it's a beautiful thing. And they talk about the numbers. Oh, you are 3 for whatever, but those 3, those are. I'm amazed at the 3. Every time I see it, like God, or the 4, I'm amazed. Like, wow.
So were you surprised when you saw? I know you said you had kind of connections. You knew, I guess, a few people before you came on. But when you saw those other 8 females, were you like, where have you all been? You know what I'm saying? What was your thought when you saw beautiful?
I mean, I live in Houston, Texas. We see pretty women.
I know it's huge, but
all the time. Yeah, but I was, like I said, I was more impressed at how the women were acting. This is not how normal women act. Normal women act in the real world. You go up there, approach them. It's not, oh, hey, how you doing? It's what you want. What's going on? They're real. You're ready to love. You can't do that to a guy. So if you did that, you go to the guys and go, man, did you see that girl over there? She's mean. Don't vote her. You know what I mean? And then when it's time to vote, every guy's like, well, Ron did say she was mean. I'm gonna put her in my bottom. So I know there was a bunch of times where women wanted to be women and say something and didn't say it. Somebody like Ida can't hold it in.
I believe Ida can tell.
Yeah, Ida can't hold it in. She's gonna say whatever on her mind.
I like Ida.
Personality, naturally. I love it about her. But yeah, she can't play that type of game.
Right.
But some of the other women, it was like you couldn't say anything wrong.
Wow.
At one point, you know what I mean? Until it got down to where she knew where her path was and who she wanted, stuff like that. Then if you said something to her, then it's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Because when Alexis picked AJ finally on that last phone conversation we had, I was like, I don't know this woman. It's a different woman.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay. And I was like, maybe the one I had before wasn't representative. Maybe some of this other stuff is.
Right.
The Amber that I knew when the Amber at the reunion, I'm like, who this woman?
Wow. Wow. Maybe she was.
Maybe when I have 400 text messages filling my phone with heart emojis, and we talk, and this and that, and been in my house, and I done bought drinks for her and her friends, and we done been outings. That ain't the same woman. It ain't the same woman with Alexis that we didn't talk about your son. We didn't been on, dates. I spent my money on Valentine's Day. I have flowers delivered to the, things of that nature. the women at the end ain't the same woman. Wow. And you know, it's sometimes you get representatives. You know, it is a game going on and being played. And even with that, I don't care. I still such a believer in love. I want everybody to find who they're supposed to find on whatever path it is to defining marriage and love and things of that nature. I'll be perfectly honest. If I looked at the board again and I had to do it all over again, it would have came out exactly the same.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't that interesting? You wouldn't have done anything different? Do you think you would have done anything different?
I didn't do anything. Me and my castmates said the other day, they was like, Ron, you know, production was targeting you. They was doing this and that, blah, blah. They said you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Yeah, and I played everything exactly the way, naturally who I am, how it's supposed to be. You know, what they do with it for TV purposes after that is what they do. But the fact of the matter is, I couldn't have played it any way different. I was really invested 100% into the process. If I was being more strategic, no, because one, my match wasn't there.
Okay.
So it was no point of going to the end with a person that's not, you don't want to do that.
That's true. You're right. You don't want to just.
If you do that,
go to the end.
You'll be mad because now you got to keep up appearances with this person. And if you're the person who's going to leave, now you're going to look like the bad guy. And that person gonna play victim on you.
Right. Exactly. Sure. So let me ask you something. Do you think you all had some rebels on your season that were depicted as rebels? I mean, do you think you had anybody on your season that were rebels? Production saw it as rebels, I should say. That you all just didn't conform. You did what you wanted to do. I mean,
production has enough dirt on everybody to make you however they want to make you.
Oh, okay.
They made some good guys look bad. They made some bad guys look good. They saved some people's butt, and others they try to make something up or try to find something. It goes to that extreme. So it just depends on it. You know what I mean? Like TV matters. How you show up on camera. How, you know what I mean? Okay, this person is good on camera. This person is photogenic. This person.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's going to be good on TV. We need to save him and do a certain narrative because maybe the audience might gravitate more to that character. You know, it's still a TV show.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. It's sensational TV. That's what it is. It's sensational TV. But
some people, they might say he's going to be good on camera.
Right.
Man, look at all this stuff you just said. We're going to edit that out. We can't show none of that. We're going to make him look like this.
Right. But then the production, they do come and ask you all to do certain things, right? You know, do certain things, say certain things. So did you think there were people on your castmate who said, no, I'm just showing you me. I'm not doing anything extra. If you're asking me to do something that's against how I feel, I'm not doing it. So do you think there were some, that's what I'm calling rebels, people who didn't conform?
Oh, yeah. It's a bunch of people that just are by the code. I'm by the code. You know what I mean? Like, they know who they can kind of finesse. And this depends on how bad somebody wants something. Like, some people really needed this show. You know, it is what it is. It was some bad times going on.
Well, yeah, I forgot you all did get paid. Yeah, you get a pay.
Yeah, some people needed the show. So
right, I get you.
You had more leverage on some people than you had on others. Other people said, yo, you can cut me right now. You're working me to death. I'm done. You know what I mean? And other people were like, man, I want to make it to the end. I want to do this. I got this branding going on. I got I want, you know what I mean, be a TV one day. And, you know, I think reality kind of sets in with those people where they're like, oh, there ain't gonna be no spinoff. There ain't gonna be no
Yeah,
it's like, nah, like, you know, if you have superior.
But do you think you can see watching the show now, going back and watching the show, maybe not, you know, all the season, why people sometimes think these shows are fake? Like, you know, it's a fake show because sometimes from us looking outside in, did you notice that?
It doesn't look like a process, but honestly, it's TV. I got to think of all the shows that our show kind of has to be the realest of shows because we're normal people.
Right.
It just is what it is. They can say all this. He's an actor. He did acting work before and things of that nature. And some people probably had done some things. We've seen people on different shows and things of that nature. But I know these people personally, and I know that that's not their goal. They ain't who they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're the regular people, and they came on the show as regular people. And like I said, when you're on the show, your emotions are real. They're there because you're in a bubble. It's only 10 of y'all. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So when they talk about Jason didn't really like Liz, he was just into Kyra first, and she was second choice. That's not true. I was there. He called me on the date and said Liz looking good. You know what I mean? I know when everything kind of happened. So at one point, yes, he was really into Liz. Like it just is what it is. So I know at some points connections were real, even if they didn't make it too far past the show.
Okay.
Yeah,
but they were real.
Yeah, at one point the guy was really feeling that girl. At one point that girl was really feeling that guy. And it just didn't work, you know. So we're real. The emotions are kind of real, you know. If I see any emotion on TV and things of that nature, I know what they're feeling in that aspect. It's real. Okay. It might not be realistically long term thinking what they're doing, but in that moment is real. Okay. And yeah, so like I said, I don't blame production for anything because I tell them for day one, we're just normal people. Our lives you can't just take our lives and put the cameras on and film. We ain't that entertaining. We're not.
Believe it or not, when they edit and cut it's very entertaining.
Even if it gets played, we're boring. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like it ain't no, we ain't got nothing that. You got to make narrative.
How did you experience? What was your experience with like bloggers after the show? You know, after people saw the show. You know, even though you're real people, how did you experience? What was your experience with bloggers?
The bloggers were cool with me because they understood.
Okay.
I mean, they knew my story. I had the receipts. Okay. They were just kind of like, and even my future castmates, they know the stories. They're like, it's just a shame. You know what I mean? Like, dang, you know what I mean? They did, you know what I mean? They tried to do you like that. But the bloggers understood because it made sense to them because they've been following the show. They understand. They kind of see like, man, even like Little Black Book was like, he even said it on his thing. He was like, dude, they had no smoke for nobody reunion but Ron. They wanted, you can tell it was obvious. So it was like,
off with Ron, huh?
Yeah, they understood it. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of obvious to them. You get the trolls and stuff on the internet and things of that nature, but we all get them. You know what I mean? You think it's just you. You look at even everybody gets them. And some people are more sensitive to them than others. Others might not get a lot, but make it a lot. So
did you have a lot of interviews though after the show? I mean, did you do a lot of interviews?
You're supposed to get your main interviews, but it was a lot. They didn't want me to say, so I didn't get those. Especially then when I was mad. Oh yeah, they didn't want to put me on them interviews.
So let me ask you something, because I saw you interview Cameshia, and I know Cameshia's interviewed a lot of the Ready to Love cast. But also, I know there's been some issue with Cameshia interviewing. So, do you know how that started? Like what happened? Why they're so? Or did you know on the site at the time that it was not positive to interview with Cameshia? They weren't, they weren't. They were. What was the deal? What was going on with this?
I don't know what it was. I was personally thought they told us it's certain people we don't want y'all interviewing with.
Right.
You have to go through us in order to do an interview first. It's the way they wanted it to happen. But it's like, how much power is your word gonna hold when I saw you try to do this?
Right. Okay.
Now I ain't. You know what I mean? How much do I gotta listen to you? You know what I mean? Like I'm a grown man. You ain't daddy. You know what's going on? Like, so I'm gonna interview whoever I want to interview with, and other people felt that way now. And now I think everybody's like that. Like, man,
well, yeah, it is. But I was wondering, what were they saying behind the scenes? Like, you can only interview with certain people, or
they had certain people they wanted their interviews with first. And like at one point, Little Black Book wasn't a favorite to interview with.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh no, don't. We can't do the Little Black Books. We can't do that because the cast were mad at some of the way that this thing was going down, and they were giving out information and things of that nature. And I think production finally said, we're not going to be able to stop that and still have a show some of the charm of the show is the castmates keeping it real on these interviews after and kind of giving the real, you know what I mean? So we're just gonna ride with that now since we're not gonna be able to stop it. Because like you said, you're not gonna be able to do whatever you want to do in production and expect these guys to follow suit after. It ain't gonna happen. Like, you know what I mean? You have some people that yes sir, yes man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I understand.
You know, everything, but other people are gonna be like, man, ain't no way in the world. Like, they don't have enough leverage on you to stop you. You know what I mean?
Okay. So your contract, but you're under a contract. So does that contract end? And then at that time, I mean, I'm sure it ends. But does it end? I don't know. Maybe you're still under.
What is it? What's a contract?
NDA. Well, NDA.
What are they gonna do? They're working you to death. They're barely paying you.
Barely feeding you, right?
They ain't gonna sue. You know, for one, a lot of people in this cast, you can sue anyway. And your lawyer is probably $8,000 an hour. You know what I mean? My lawyer ain't gonna be that. So is it worth suing somebody for being in it? And you really don't want to go to court with some of these people because they do have certain things on. I mean, it's just
right. I got you.
Yeah. So what can they really do? You know what I mean? On a contract, you're not doing enough for you to take anything away for the most part. You know, it's a fair situation. You put me on a show, and they told me, they say, you know what, we think it's fair. Now you get to defend yourself because of how this is played. Sometimes we think it's only fair that you get to defend yourself. Now, how you do it and who you do it to is more who their concern is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They don't want necessarily you out in a lot of stuff on a live, and then 5 bloggers. I got in trouble for that. You know what I mean? I was like, man. I did one live only because I'm not a go on live every day TikTok show. That's just not who I am. You know, but I did one live to get the whole truth out. And I don't know if I did it early or you know, whatever like that. But bloggers started taking the live and putting it on their thing, and that turned some heads. I was like, man, I just did a little live. I was done. Didn't take it down, and all the bloggers and had it. Now. We weren't worried about your little 5,000 people, but now you got bloggers with bigger platforms.
Oh,
now it's a concern, and I was like, my bad. You know, I didn't. You know,
okay.
I didn't
so productions come for you, so they come for you when you all step out of line outside.
Yeah. They'll mention it briefly, but nobody wants to have a real conversation about it. It's just more like this and that. And I'm looking at them like, I don't know, world, what I'm supposed to know. Like. Should have sat down and had a conversation, you know.
I was gonna say, now I know you all signed, like I said, I know you signed a contract, but when you went into this show, was it anything that you told them that you don't feel comfortable doing? I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know. Do you just sign a contract and say whatever you say, I'm gonna cut, edit?